Fashion is often seen as a reflection of culture and identity, but throughout history, some trends have left us scratching our heads in disbelief. From extravagant hairstyles to peculiar garments, what were our ancestors thinking? Join me as we explore the top 10 bizarre historical fashion trends that will make you question not only their practicality, but also their sanity. 1. The crinoline cage, 19th century. Imagine wearing a dome-shaped cage under your dress that could be up to 6 feet wide. The crinoline, popular in the mid-19th century, was designed to create a voluminous silhouette. While it may have looked stylish, it posed practical challenges. Navigating doorways and crowded spaces became a perilous endeavor. Not to mention, it was a fire hazard. Women risked being trapped in their own garments. 2. The ruffs, 16th-17th century. Ruffs were elaborate, starched collars that became a must-have for fashionable men and women during the Renaissance. These oversized, frilly circles of fabric not only drew attention to the neck, but also made everyday tasks awkward. Eating and talking became cumbersome, as these collars required constant adjustment. They were a statement of status, but also a challenge to wear. 3. The stomachers, 18th century. Stomachers were decorative pieces worn on the front of dresses, often elaborately embroidered and designed to mimic the shape of the wearer's body. These embellishments were sometimes so large they looked like a piece of furniture. Worn by fashionable women, stomachers added an odd emphasis to the waistline and could be a nightmare to keep clean and in place. 4. Footbinding, China, 10th–20th century. One of history's most extreme beauty practices, footbinding involved tightly wrapping young girls' feet to prevent them from growing. The result was a lotus foot, only about 3 inches long, which was considered a symbol of beauty and status. The practice caused immense pain and long-term disabilities, highlighting the disturbing lengths to which some cultures went to achieve beauty ideals. 5. The Beau Brummel's neckcloth, early 19th century. Dandyism reached its peak with Beau Brummel, who popularized the extravagant neckcloth, a precursor to the modern necktie. These elaborate cloths were often over the top, requiring extensive tying and adjusting. The trend emphasized a man's status and sophistication, but also involved an almost obsessive level of care. The time spent perfecting these neckcloths was nothing short of bizarre. 6. The Victorian bustle, 19th century. The bustle was a fashion trend that added volume to the back of women's dresses, creating an exaggerated silhouette. While it may have been stylish, wearing a bustle could be cumbersome, with some styles making it difficult to sit or move freely. Women had to navigate social situations carefully, and those who wore bustles often found themselves at the mercy of the garment's unpredictability. 7. The Zoot Suit, 1930s–1940s. The Zoot Suit, characterized by its high-waisted, wide-legged trousers and long coat, was a statement of cultural identity, particularly among African American and Mexican American communities. However, the extravagant style was seen as unpatriotic during World War II, leading to the infamous Zoot Suit riots. While it's now celebrated as a symbol of resistance, its initial reception was anything but favorable. 8. The 18th century Pompadour, hairdo. Named after Madame de Pompadour, this elaborate hairstyle featured towering curls and was often adorned with feathers and jewels. While visually striking, these hairdos were impractical and often required hours of styling. Moreover, the weight of the hair could lead to neck pain, and maintaining such a look was an all-consuming endeavor, revealing the lengths to which people would go for beauty. 9. The Pannier, 18th century. Panniers were wide, basket-like structures worn under skirts to create an exaggerated silhouette. Popular in France, they could make dresses look as though they had wings. While they certainly turned heads, the size of the panniers made it nearly impossible to navigate through narrow spaces. Women often needed assistance to move around, turning everyday life into a fashion obstacle course. 10. The Hawaiian muumuu, 20th century. Though now considered a comfortable and casual garment, the muumuu has a more complex history. Originally worn by Hawaiian women, it was introduced to the mainland US in the 20th century as an exotic fashion item. The muumuu became a symbol of cultural appropriation and misunderstanding, reflecting the complicated relationship between fashion and cultural identity. Fashion has always been a fascinating lens through which to view history, revealing societal norms, cultural values, and sometimes the absurdities of human behavior. These bizarre trends remind us that what's considered stylish can often border on the ridiculous. As we explore our own fashion choices today, perhaps we can take a cue from history. Let's embrace individuality, but maybe leave the crinolines and footbinding in the past.